Great. Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for coming today. We have Julius Jones here with OneNotary, and he is going to go ahead and demonstrate his platform. We will answer questions as we go, and of course, we'll do a Q&A at the end. So, Julius, thank you so much for coming today. I'm going to go ahead and turn it right over to you, and let us know if you need anything from us as we go along.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Julius. I am the sales manager for the platform. This is our second time doing the demo here, so hopefully we can get through it the whole way this time. So a few things I want to talk about here today before we get started is a few questions and concerns about exemplars and also the New York State regulations. I know that's seems to be a hot topic for the notaries and kind of knowing if OneNotary falls within the regulations of New York, which we actually do. One of the things I want to talk about was exemplars. This is something that we don't necessarily provide to the notaries, but this is something that we give. This is a feature that we give you so you can actually get an example document. And if you look on the right side of my screen here, I'm going to show you how you would actually create your exemplar with a test notarization. If you go up here to the top right corner of your platform and you go to my profile, you actually be able to run a test notarization. This is going to give you the opportunity to go through the full test and also place your example, place your stamp on the document. That way you can download and then submit it to the state. That way you can move forward with your notarization as well. We'll move forward with getting your account set up and getting approved as an online notary. The other things I wanted to talk about was the New York State regulations regarding online notarization. This is something that is very important, something that we are definitely compliant with when it comes down to the regulations specifically for New York. There are 4 things that an online notarization needs to be compliant with in order for them to be operational on a federal level and also a state level. First thing here is we have being the function to sign electronically. We also have the function to have a secure and reliable technology to make sure there are no breaches in our system, and which we have never had a breach for documentation. And also the platform must have a process to to verify the identity of the signer, which we do have, which they are all compliant under the AIL2 of the NIST. And this is something that if you look up, this is basically saying that if a online notarization is to be operational, it must have an option for KBA, which is knowledge-based authentication. And also, we always maintain a data trail of the whole record of the notarization as it's taking place and also for the signer as well. These are the 4 things that an online notarization platform must be compliant with for it to be operational. And also, these are the 4 things that regarding the New York State regulations, that if you look within the government site, these 4 things are listed that a online notarization platform must be compliant with as well. Now that that's being said, I'm going to go ahead and actually go into pricing here. Let's go into pricing. Let's see, pricing. Actually, what we're going to do before we go over pricing is I'll quickly show you exactly how to complete a notarization, which is very simple. So for this example, we'll actually be running the test notarization here. And this is pretty much the same exact way that you would run through a normal notarization on your end. So we're going to go ahead and run this test notarization. You have 2 options. You have the general notary work, and you also have packet signings. The difference between these 2 here is obviously the general notary work is typically ideal for anywhere up to 1 to 3 stamps or seals. Packet signings are obviously more geared for loan signings. That gives you the flexibility to kind of charge what you want. That way you can get paid correctly. So for this example, we're just going to keep things simple and go with the general notary work option here. Now, to actually upload a document, all you have to do is click on upload. You're going to be taken directly to your files in your computer. You can choose the document that needs to be uploaded. We're going to do a copy certification. Actually, yeah, copy certification. You also have the option to edit the document, which all the functions that are available here are also available within the actual notarization itself. And I'll show you these functions here during the actual session here, just to save us some time. So we're going to go ahead and click on next here. Last step for you is you'll just be adding in the signer's information, which would just be their email. And then you click on next. Oh, also, I do want to mention that if you do have additional signers with your notary account, you can actually add 4 additional signers. So in total, you'll have 5 signers in the session if you actually needed to add any additional extra signers. And all you have to do is enter in their email, and then we'll go through the same exact verification process that I'm getting ready to show you guys here in just a second. So we're going to go ahead and click on next. Now this part here, we do give you the option to pay for the notarization. Here, all you have to do is click in enter in all your card information, and then for the cost of the session, you would pay $10 if you're actually paying with, if you're actually subscribed under our Pro account. And if the signer pays here, there's, excuse me, one of the examples that I was talking about earlier is that you actually be able to custom the amount for the actual session here. So all you have to do is click on add extra fee here, and you can actually custom the amount that you want to add there. And there still is going to be that primary session fee there, where OneNotary is going to charge a specific fee, and then you pretty much will keep the difference here. And after this here, we're going to go ahead and click on send invite. And for you, when you're in, that's pretty much it. This is where the signer is going to go through their verification process here. So we're going to go ahead and go here. We're going to make this disappear. There we go. Now the signer on their end, they're going to get this email to let them know all they need is all they need is their ID, smartphone with a camera, laptop or computer, and the last 4 digits of their social security number. They're going to go ahead and click on get started. Now, it usually wouldn't bring them directly to this page here. What they're going to do is actually create an account. That way they can go ahead and go through verification. After they create their account, they'll go ahead and hold on. That's what's wrong. We're going to log out of here. And we're going to back and actually click on get started. There we go. So the signer is going to come here, create their account. Then they're going to go ahead and log in. Here we go. This is what it's supposed to look like. And as you keep an eye out here on the left-hand side, you'll see that you are actually able to see the progress of the signer as they go through verification here. So as a signer, if you were walking them through this process, all they would have to do is click on next. They don't have to upload an additional document. Same here. They don't have to add any additional signers or witnesses. They'll click on next. And now the signer would enter in all their payment information here. So I'm going to enter in some fake info here. And click on next. Now the system's going to go ahead and check their camera connection. Okay, it looks like your browser blocked your camera. Let's go ahead and unblock these things. Settings. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and go through the entering the personal information of our KBA. And they're going to click on Start. Oh, let's go ahead and enter in the first. There we go. That'll work. All right, we go ahead and get started with the KBA. Now, before I start, I want to let you know that these questions here that the signer will see are not editable. They will be different every time. And they also have 2 minutes to answer the questions and 2 attempts to pass the verification questions, which will look something like this here. If they fail, they will be locked out for 24 hours before they can try again. There's nothing that you, the notary, can do or we can do to kind of expedite that process. They'll just have to wait that 24 hours. So they'll go ahead and answer all the correct questions here. And then click on Save and Next. Now they're going to take a picture of their ID. Now I'm going to quickly show you what the signer would see on their end, because I'm going to have to continue off my phone here in just a second. If they use this QR code, after scanning it, all they have to do is follow the instructions that our system will give them to get to the portion where they will actually take a picture of their ID. Or they can continue with the text message, which is actually a little bit easier. They'll go ahead and click here, enter in their number, and click on Get Started. They're going to have this 4-digit code here where they can go ahead and take that picture. Now I'm going to show you exactly what the signer would go through. Let me scoot this over here just a little bit. Now, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and just show the whole thing. Okay, so after they get the 4-digit code, over here in the far left corner, they're going to get the text message. They click on the blue link. They enter in a 4-digit code, click on Submit. They'll then choose the type of ID that they want. And then after clicking on Proceed, they'll be able to take a picture of the front and back. And then the system will let them know that they're approved. And then they click on Proceed, and then they'll be waiting for the notary. Now, I'm going to quickly go through that process there so we can go ahead and continue through this process here. I'm going to go back here, and I'm actually going to go through that same exact process that I just showed you here very quickly. Click on the link, 4-digit code, 34, submit. Take a picture of the driver's license, proceed. For this example, I'm just going to take a picture of my keyboard. And then the picture of the back will be a picture of my mouse. That way, you can see the difference. Okay, now that that's done here, the system's going to go ahead and process that ID. Now we're done. So they're going to go ahead and click on Proceed here. And now they will be waiting on you to go ahead and start and initiate the session here. So as you see, you can now see that the signer is in ready to start status. And all they have to do is click on Got It. They're waiting for you to initiate. You click on Start Session. Signer is going to hear that ringtone, and all they have to do is click on Connect here. Click on Got It on both ends here. Hopefully we don't get any feedback. Testing 1, 2, 3. There we go. Marcy, can y'all still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sure. Good. All right. So continuing on here, you as a notary on the left-hand side, you'll be able to actually see the front end. Just pretend this is an actual picture of an ID. They'll see the front end of the ID and also the back of the ID here, just as you would in a normal traditional notary situation where they would actually show you the ID. That way you can verify that their ID matches their face here. And there you would go ahead and click on confirm ID. Now you are actually here in the actual notary session. Just going to wait for it to load there. Here we go. And now you as a notary, you'll be able to, now, as far as your exemplar here, with your exemplar, they need to have your actual notary stamp in the document. So to actually place your notary stamp, you see this N right here. Click, and you'll resize your stamp so it can look a good, decent size here. And here you will also be able to create your signature as well. We, on the OneNotary platform, we don't actually provide electronic signatures. You will have to find a external source to get your electronic signatures created. So for me, in my example, I actually have my electronic signature here that we can use. That will look something like this. Then you can resize here. All right. Now, as a notary, you do have the option for a whiteout tool. It's a little rectangle here. When you click on it, you can actually click, hold, and drag over any portion of the document that you want to white out here. You also have the free text box where you can actually go ahead and start filling in the document here. And you also have this fill in here box here. Oh, this fill in here box. But usually in a usual notary session, you will just kind of show them where, tell them, describe in the document where they would need to actually sign their signature or point their attention to. You also have the signer's free text tool. After clicking here, you'll be able to assign to the signer. And as you can see on the signers in here on the right hand side, after you place that there for them, all they would have to do is click and they can actually type in their name. You also have the checkbox option if they need to check anything specific. After placing, you can assign. On the right-hand side, the signer will be able to click on check and it checks the box. Then you have the initial option. After assigning to the signer, all they have to do is click on the green little box here. They can draw their signature, type it. Some signers may have an uploaded version. Most don't, because this will be new to them. So typically they'll just go ahead and just draw. If they draw, fair warning, it will not look nice. So they go ahead and click on create. The same thing for their actual signature. They click on assign, and then they'll go ahead and do their best to draw their actual signature as well, which won't look nice. So they'll click on create. So you guys pretty much get the gist of how this would work here. Before I move on, I want to see if anyone has any questions on this process just want to make sure everybody's understanding this. And Marcy, you can let me know if I'm clear to go or not.
Yep, I don't see any question, but I'll wait 1 second to see if anybody wants to add anything.
Okay.
Nope, I think we're doing great.
Awesome, perfect. All right, so that's pretty much it as far as getting the actual document notarized. This here would be a part of your exemplar, and you'll be able to actually download this document and send it off to wherever you need to send it off in order for you to continue with your verification as far as getting your online, your RON certification. So you click on complete here. Complete session. And here we go. Signer can go ahead and rate their experience. Now, as I was saying, the signer will be able to download their document here. Their document will only be available for 7 days before it is permanently deleted. And there's nothing we can do to retrieve that document. So if this is something that they want, definitely let them know that they have 7 business days to download that document. You on the other end, your document will be available for 14 days, and you will also have access to the video. Now to download, all you have to do is click on download, and obviously it downloads the document directly to your computer. And if we just look here, how this would look on your end, will look exactly like we did here. And when you print it off, it's going to look exactly like this. So that's pretty much it as far as how to actually send, invite, and client from start all the way to finish. The last thing I want to go over here is pricing. And then that'll be it for the demo. And then if anyone has any questions, you can ask me any questions and we can pretty much take it from there. Go ahead and log out here. And we're going to go ahead and get pricing. Okay. So as far as pricing goes, we have the free account and you also have your professional account. With the free account, you can only do, well, with both of these accounts here, the years of storage is 10 years for the video, and you have only 3 participants that you can add. And for the loan signings, you're limited up to 3 with a $30 per session cost. And then with the general notary work, you're charged $13, which would be subtracted from the $25 that would be charged to the actual client, and then you would keep the difference. Same principles for the professional, except for the general notary work, it's $10. And whenever the signer's charged $25, 10 will be subtracted and you keep the difference. The same thing for this here. Now, with the professional, you get unlimited loan signings. Now, the only difference between the general notary work and the loan signing option here is this 25 is not something that you would pay. This would be paid by the signer plus the fee that you charge them for the actual loan session. So, Ms. Marcy, that's pretty much it as far as the whole demo of the platform and covering pricing and the specific laws and regulations that OneNotary falls under. If anyone has any questions, I am here.
Great. So let's see, Steve, you have a question. Do you want to type it or I can unmute? Oh, I think I can't unmute. I think Vanessa has to unmute. Let's see. Oh, no, I can unmute you. I think that you should be able to ask now. Steve, are you there?
Me?
Oh, yep. Go ahead.
I see the questions.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
So my question is, if somebody signs online with using their mouse and the signature looks nothing like their real actual signature, is that okay?
Absolutely. This one of the perks from doing things online is with the online notarization platform, having you and the signer within that session, the way the platform is set up is the notary can witness that signature. So as long as the signer did that signature, that is qualified to be their actual signature. So it doesn't have to look exactly like their signature. And I've had some signers with some actual chicken scratch, but as long as the document was signed by them, as long as that signature was theirs, that's what makes the document acceptable. And with online notarization, we're actually able to verify that that signature was done by that person.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily have to look exactly like their signature, as long as it was done by them, if that answers your question.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Steve. All right, Carmela, I'm going to unmute you. You should be able to unmute yourself. Are you there, Carmela?
Hi, yes. Can you see me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Thanks.
We're good.
Good. I was just wondering what is the what is, I'm sorry if you said it already, but how long is storage under the professional plan?
The professional plan is the same thing. It looks like they just forgot to put the 10 years on the other side, but it's definitely still 10 years of video storage when it comes out to professional as well. So the basic stores the video for 10 years, and also the professional stores it for 10 years as well.
Okay, great. One more question in regards to the venue. If, let's say I'm in New York and they're in Florida, is their venue still Florida, or how does that work with online notary?
That's a good question. With venue, the venue is always going to be the location of the notary. So the signer, so wherever how online notarization works is the notarization takes place where the notary is. So for example, I'm actually in Florida, and I've actually done a few notarizations for New York clients. So in that example, whenever the venue says state of, county of, I'm actually going to put my state in my county, because technically with online notarization, the notarization takes place where the venue of the notary is. So in my case, it would be state of Florida, county of Escambia.
Thank you. Carmela, any other questions?
No, that would be all. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day.
Thank you. So someone asked about Ron in their state. I'm going to assume this is a New York question, but if it's not, let me know. You can use your old stamp. You can use your stamp with your current commission number until the state sends you your new e-commission e-notary number. And at that time, you must use that number for in-person traditional and electronic notarizations. You cannot conduct remote online notarizations, though, until your exemplar is approved and submitted. And I want to make sure everyone's aware that if you decide to use multiple platforms, you need an exemplar from each of those platforms. So the state is running about a month or so behind in approving exemplars. They have retained a third-party vendor to help them with the approval process, so we expect that to speed up. But just note that going forward. So once you get your new commission number, you'll use that for everything. Change your stamps if you use a stamp, but you cannot conduct ROD until your exemplar is approved as well. Any other questions, concerns, comments? We're certainly happy to answer any questions you might have. Going once.
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Right. Well, you can always reach out to Julius, of course, afterward. We're recorded this, and we're going to go ahead and put it on our NINA site as well, so you have access to that. If you have any questions and you can't reach Julius, you can forward them to me, and I can forward them on to him as well.
Absolutely. And my email is julius@onenotary.us. Also, as well, how we deal with onboardings of notaries is our support team actually handles the onboarding of notaries. So if you create an account with us and you want to go ahead and get started, definitely be sure to reach out to support@onenotary.us. That way our team can properly get you onboarded. We'll also provide you with the script that you need to say before every notarization, because another important thing to know is that with online notarization, the video that you have during that session is the only evidence you have that the notarization takes place. So it's very important to make sure that you say that script every single time. There may be cases where law enforcement may contact you, or maybe signers from maybe a year ago or 2 years ago might contact you and say, hey, someone said that their signature was forged. Do you have the actual video? That way, whenever they ask for the law enforcement or they ask for the video, you will literally have the signer saying, yes, they consent to signing the document. Yes, they understand what they're signing. And yes, they're participating in the notarization of their own free will. So Julius, we will, yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just want to jump in for a minute. So I have someone actually asking if you're approved in Michigan. Does it say on your site what states you're available in, or where would they find that information?
If you look here, let me see. Let me do a little quick check. That's a good question. Let's go back.
I apologize, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to make sure that for those who are still on, that we told them where you were even available.
You said Michigan?
Michigan?
Michigan. You know what I'll do is just to make sure that I give you the accurate information. As far as my knowledge, if online notarization is legal in your state, then you will be able to create an account on our platform. So, but I'm still going to verify that with my actual platform and make sure that we are compliant. Well, the states, to see the actual states that we're accepting notaries from. So I'll be able to get that list to you, and maybe we can share that in an email of some sort. That way we can get that information to them.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, so basically, as I was saying, is that script is very important. Always remember that that's your only proof that the notarization happened. And we will definitely provide that script with you, and just make sure you memorize it and say it every single time. But to top everything off, that's all I got.
Okay. Someone did ask about attaching their state, acknowledgements or oaths. And I believe there's a template section, right, where they can have that saved in OneNotary for use as well. And of course, we want to remind you that some states require additional verbiage when you do on a remote or electronic notarization that needs to be added to that acknowledgement as well. So there's obviously ways to edit that, or certainly save it as a template, as Julius just confirmed in there, so you would be able to utilize that. Having said that, I always like to preface, be careful about how much you change in someone else's document, especially when you're doing remote online and you're crossing, state lines. Some items just aren't available to be changed in documentation, depending on who the receiver is. And some documents cannot be electronically notarized, right? And therein lies the difficulty sometimes in crossing state lines from remote online. So just keep that in mind when you're making adjustments to your acknowledgements and oaths. The person on the receiving end has to be able to take that document. So while we say it's legal, and it is, according to the law, not everyone is required to take an electronically notarized document. So that's important to make sure that the receiver will take it prior to going through all of that. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that, Julia? That's an important piece to make sure everyone is a good reminder.
Yes, you did. Everything that you said was definitely 100% the truth. And it's always good to remember that whenever technically every state can take an electronic notarized document. I personally have done over 5,000 of these online notarizations, and I have done notarizations for every single state in the United States. What it ultimately comes down to is the policies of the company that you're submitting the document to. So that's ultimately what it comes down to technically. And for example, California, they're giving notaries a really hard time with becoming online notaries, and also with accepting online documents. I myself have completed multiple documents from online for individuals and citizens of California. So when it comes down to actually notarizing documents, Ms. Marcy, she was correct on that, where it ultimately comes down to making sure that that establishment actually accepts those documents. And a lot of the times it turns out that the company that doesn't accept them are just not familiar with the laws surrounding online notarization.
Great. So let's see a few more questions. Yes, Elizabeth, you are correct in that they are not commissioned in New York State until the Department of State approves them. They currently cannot file a certificate of character, is my understanding, because the counties have not received the information from the state yet, but they're working on that. So thank you for bringing that up. Let's see, Kenneth, are you adding electronic notary on your physical stamp? That depends on what state you're in. Are you in New York, Kenneth? Because if you are, then no, stamps aren't required here. So you would just stick with the traditional notary public. It's not going to hurt it if you say electronic notary on there, I guess. It doesn't make a difference. But yeah, I mean, there's no rule or requirement for that. So that would be completely up to you how you feel about doing that. Do you know when Georgia will open? Georgia will open. Do you know that, Julia?
I don't. Georgia at the moment is not complying.
Right? Mm-hmm.
It's just not complying.
Yeah, they're a whole
they're not, to my understanding, they're not letting notaries be online notaries over there, from my understanding.
Can they do an actual demonstration with a personal friend, and will they be charged for that? Is there a test mode?
Yes, that pretty much the situation that I just showed everyone, where you can actually go and do the test session. You can do that with a friend, or if you have another device, you could just use your, like, for example, you can use your actual computer and your actual phone, because our platform is phone compatible. So you can just do it with yourself as long as you have 2 emails. But yes, your friend could help you out with that.
Colleen, you got your hand raised. I'm gonna unmute you if you want to ask a question. You should be all set to unmute there, Colleen. Do we have you, Colleen? Are you there? I don't hear you. So if you are having a technical issue, you can drop that right in the chat box if you'd like. While we wait for Colleen, are there any other questions or concerns?
I did want to add as well, as far as the actual notary stamp. Now, this is where it comes down to specific states and what specific states allow. But to the best of my understanding, when it comes down to notarial, your actual seal, it doesn't have to have online notary, as long as these documents have a disclosure that says that the document was notarized online using KVA communication, then that's enough when it comes down to letting the establishment know that the document was notarized online. So as far as my understanding, your stamp doesn't have to have electronic notary.
Someone wants to know, how is OneNotary different from notarize.com?
Ooh, that's a good question. OneNotary is different in a few ways. As far as, I mean, obviously the user interface is a little bit different. The difference is with Notarize, it's more of, I'd say the process is still the same as far as KVA, using audio and video for the signer, and also uploading documents. The only difference when it comes down to the notary's point of view on both both platforms is hotkeys. That's literally the only difference. And also, Notarize doesn't have the whiteout feature. They actually got rid of it like last year. So that's really the only difference. Also, we actually provide an opportunity for our hourly working, versus with Notarize, it's more of a first come, first serve situation. If you actually get onto the team with Notarize, they give you an option to accept their notary client with the clients that they have. The only difference is we pay hourly and they pay per session. So if you are interested in that position with OneNotary, you can actually go to our website and go to For Notaries, and all the way down at the bottom, you can actually apply, and then we'll take a look and see if we want to add you to the team.
That's great information. Thank you, Julius.
You are welcome.
Any other questions? All right, I think that we are wrapped up for today. Thank you so much, Julius, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to demo with us again. We certainly appreciate that. Thank you to all of the attendees. I know your time is valuable as well, and I always appreciate when you guys make the effort to get new information and learn about things and come to these demos, because that just shows me how great you are about staying on top of things and following the rules and regulations, wanting to do a great job out there. So I commend you all for that. We'll go ahead and get this recording up in the next couple of days or so. Like I said, if you had reached out to Julius, you certainly know where to reach him. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great day, a good St. Patrick's Day if you celebrate, and a great weekend.
Same.